We want to tell everybody what we're doing, and then we'll go in and formally start in the studio.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, so we've been playing an awful lot of Animal Crossing New Horizons here on the Switch. Zach has definitely put more time into it than any of us.
I'm a long-time fan.
Yeah, you've been playing it for a while, and then you got it, I think, day 1, too.
I think day 2 or day 3, something like that.
Oh, really?
I'm a little behind Lauren, because she got it day 1.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you went on a Switch hunt for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah, before they all disappeared.
Before everybody is like, man, that Switch is good stuff.
Yeah.
Dang it, my kids need something to do.
No, Kim was kind of interested in it because, like, one of our friends was playing it. And so she got it, and then I got it. And then we just kind of realized that everybody that we knew that had a Switch started having it. And so from there, it became, like, this fun little additional social media almost.
Absolutely. Like, we get on of a night, and Catherine, she starts hitting us up. She's like, hey, you want to open your gate so I can come check out your stuff and just chill?
Right, yeah. Yeah, that seems to be a pretty nightly ritual for us, too. Like, Mario pop in, and we'll trade fish and go fishing on each other's islands and that type of thing.
Right. And I figure if we need, or if anybody's interested in later, we can explain some more aspects of the game by wandering around and demonstrating things if we need.
Yeah, this can be kind of our podcast episode wrapped into just a stream session. But for anybody that's curious, me, Alex, I am the little guy with the mustache on your screen. I'm on the left. Zach is the fanciful-looking producer fella there on the top. And then, Joe, why don't you just explain your outfit?
I'm a dad.
Enough said.
With a TARDIS shirt.
Which is great, by the way. I'm really happy.
My wife made a TARDIS shirt, and then I made myself a #1 dad hat.
I'm so happy. I didn't realize that you could customize hats, honestly, till I saw your hat.
Oh, really?
Oh, see, you've learned things today already.
Boom!
Yep.
Master of animal. It's been 4 days. I'm the best. That's why I'm #1 dad. I made a.
Holy crap, you have so many emotions.
Yeah, you get
It's
them.
not just a wheel.
No, because, I mean, you have your fast wheel, and then you can go into your all emotions, and you can technically fill this whole thing up.
How'd you do that?
Why?
What?
When you open up
My
your
white. It should be X, shouldn't it? Yeah, mine doesn't work when I'm sitting.
If you hit your right trigger, it doesn't work?
No, that works.
Yeah, and then hit Y.
Then you hit Y.
Yeah.
Oh. There's so many emotions that I don't have. Whoa!
So for anybody tuning in, this is just kind of outside, having a little fireside chat. Was waiting for everybody to get situated and just chit-chat.
Yeah, of course, we will have like an audio version available on our typical podcast feed. And then we're going to probably upload a highlight of this to the YouTube channel. And it'll be like a video that you can find on Twitch as well.
Oh, yeah. So,
And actually, I'm going to tell people on my Facebook that we're streaming.
Yep, I did the same thing. So, if you all are ready, after that, we'll go ahead and go through my really messy house into the nice little studio.
Well, this time I didn't frown. Weird.
Yeah, I definitely haven't seen you frown yet, but that's cool to know that it does that.
Yeah, but this time it didn't. So
So-
I don't know what caused me to frown.
So if I do that, it'll do that. Be a cool little thing to see. Nope. It's not doing
I
it for
think
me.
Joe is seeing shit.
I think he's
No,
crazy.
My character was definitely frowning at one point.
I'm going to have to take off my mustache to even see this. Hold on, let me just remove that real quick.
Oh, wow. You immediately look super like a child.
Right? A wee baby. Which is why I put the mustache on. Because you know me. That's probably not the right thing to try with this. So, frowny face.
So now on my screen, my character is frowning, but it doesn't show up on the stream.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't. Mine doesn't change at all. But I've got like a weird little 3.
All right.
All right, I'll take a capture and I will show you that my character is frowning.
So we'll go ahead.
But
and
it only worked when I did it when I was on the tire. It didn't work anywhere when I was standing. So there's some sort of weird. All right, well, I'm just gonna follow you into this house. It won't let me in.
You gotta wait until I load in. Now you should be able to come in.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna be
I'll
on the
put my
room to the
mustache
right
back on.
beside the lava lamp.
This feels like I just walked into a thrift store, like an antique shop.
Are you gonna sell me a Mogwai?
All right, over here, gents.
Woo!
All right.
Yep.
And here's the studio.
Yep, and we can kill that audio on the thing if we need.
I don't hear any audio, so.
Oh, really?
All the background music.
Well, I have my little tape player there playing, so I don't know what song it's even
Oh,
playing.
yeah, I hear
I think
it.
it's KK Gumbo.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let me
You're
slide
asking
by
the
you and
wrong
I'll
guy.
kick that off for a second.
Oh. In order to get there, you gotta go that way.
Yeah, I made the studio a little cramped.
Oh, it works. Look at all the KK tracks you got.
Yeah, we've been collecting. Me and Toast have been swapping right back and forth.
I've been collecting music in another game that maybe we'll talk about. No, Joe, that's the casting couch. That's for a different show.
Oh, I thought I was finally going to be a star.
That one is streamed on a different website, sir.
I see how it is.
All right. So, welcome to the Forever Classic Podcast, the podcast seeking enlightenment through video games, films, and other geek culture. I'm Zach, right here in the
I'm
middle.
Alex. I'm on the right.
We have our.
I'm Joe, and I'm on the left.
So, how's everybody tonight?
Pretty good. I'm feeling great. Like earlier today, I recorded another special podcast episode that I'm super excited to share with everybody later.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be on Final Fantasy VII Remake with my stepbrother Marshall. And
Oh,
that
cool.
series is really important to us, so it was a super good conversation.
Yeah, that'll be good.
But yeah, so this is the little studio I made for us to do our in-game record.
And it looks lovely. I think it's super cute.
I can't do any of that stuff, so.
Joe just started, so he doesn't have emotions. So anybody
Yeah,
listening to the audio recording of this, we're actually doing this podcast through Animal Crossing New Horizons. And so Zach has created a little studio for us that's got like a little monitor and some microphones, a soundboard, some lights. It looks really nice. We've got Jimbo the skeleton.
Yep, he's our stand-in audience right now.
Yeah, we really knocked him dead today.
Or you could say he's just hanging out.
Yeah, come on, give us a bone, folks.
Cha-cha-cha-cha.
Oh, God.
Joe, what have you been into, man?
So this week I am upgrading my computer situation.
Yeah.
I am building a new PC. I've got a friend that knows way more about it than I do, so he helped me pick the parts, and it's just my job to get them, and I've been putting them together as I've been getting them. It's been going pretty well so far, but my current computer, the CPU is from 2008.
So there's really not much more you can do once you get to that
Right.
point. You like gotta upgrade your motherboard. and
My
your CPU.
bottleneck is definitely the CPU. And so to upgrade to a better CPU requires a motherboard upgrade. And once I upgrade to a better motherboard, a lot of my other things become outdated too.
Yeah.
Old RAM, old graphics card connection, like all of the stuff kind of just needs to be replaced. It's a pretty big investment. It's like $1,500, but it's going to be amazing when it's done. I'm very excited. But what I'm kind of impressed by is I didn't build the rig that I have. Someone else I know built it in 2008, and then in 2012 sold it to me for like $400.
Nice.
And in that time, so this is a 12-year-old machine that has kept relevant in creating animation and video editing and playing games as recent as the PC release of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, that's where it started to struggle, because I remember that in your review that we edited.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is I had less issues than a lot of other folks with it, and it's just because my configuration just happened to work. I had to fiddle with it a lot in order to get it, but that game still looked amazing and still ran at a playable frame rate. And so I didn't run into too many issues. I just know that it can be a lot better. And so I'm looking forward to firing that up and having fun with exploring that and even more capabilities. But the fact that this rig was able to run as long as it did and still is relevant and could be reasonably used as a mid-tier gaming rig is impressive to it. In that time, I have done a couple of upgrades. I did go from a 1 gig video card to a 6 gig video card, and I upped the RAM. I think it came with 8, and then I was with 12 for a while, and then I upgraded to 36.
Nice.
But my new rig is going to be just
Beastie.
scream. It could run a small country, basically.
Nice. Now,
I'm very excited.
You upgrading, I kind of want to upgrade to an actual nice monitor at some point with like a good refresh rate and stuff. Because while streaming and playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, I like run it through my monitor in here. And like you could tell some of the effects were being ghosted by like the monitor and such. And certain effects just didn't look all that great. And so then I started wondering, what are my PC games looking like if this is what this looks like?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to be picking up a 4K monitor to go along with this upgrade. So
Nice.
It's going to be pretty sweet.
Zach, what have you been doing aside from, hours and hours of Animal Crossing?
I've just been mostly just working, lots of work. The housework, got my lawnmower, got my garden hose. We started planting the garden in the backyard, so we're slowly chipping away at having full-on home stuff going.
What'd you plant?
Right now it's a couple of different vegetables in this little box garden we have up there. Inside we have some like pre-planters that we have growing, getting some stuff started inside before we move it out. That because we didn't have any more planters to have outside. And we needed to see if the like neighborhood rabbits and groundhogs were going to come in and like destroy anything.
Right.
Because any given time I have like 3 rabbits like running through the backyard.
Wow, Bunny Central.
Yeah. But we have pumpkins right now. That's the big thing that we're getting ready to put up whenever they grow big enough. And that's really about where I'm at.
So before we jump into some of the other topics, I actually want to touch on some of the games we've been playing first, because I know I personally have been playing several, and so I'm interested to see what you guys have been playing too. And this also ties into our website, so I wanted to just shout out some of that before we get going. So I guess I'll start a little bit. I mean, I did just recently beat Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have a lot of thoughts on it that's recorded in that podcast episode. But I'm just going to say, if you have any sort of interest in Final Fantasy VII, or you played the game as a kid, you really need to play this game as soon as you can. It's got such a fantastic thing going with it, and I don't want to ruin it for people. So just trust me, it's pretty cool. Some people don't like it. Most people, I think it's really neat.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my copy to come in the mail right now, just like I'm waiting for literally everything else. I'm like in this weird limbo. I hate it. I have so many things I'm just waiting for.
It's the one thing I'm glad that I did go digital this time, because I got to play as soon as it was available on PSN.
Well, I ordered the deluxe edition because it was my birthday last week, and so I had a bunch. in Amazon gift cards, and I decided to go and treat myself with the deluxe edition, which comes with a small art book and the soundtrack, or some of the soundtrack. It said mini soundtrack. I don't know what that means, but I'm excited about that. I want that because that's one thing I noted in the demo was that the soundtrack was stellar.
I would love to have a vinyl of this OST because it's got some really, really great tunes on it.
Yeah, this would be a really good vinyl track for sure.
Speaking of Final Fantasy and music, we do have a cover album review from Seven. Or no, the band is called Night of the Round. The album is called Seven. They're like a Final Fantasy metal cover band, and they put out a bunch of really cool tracks. And so there's actually a piece on our website. But I've been kind of in a AAA space here recently, guys. I went through all of Doom Eternal shortly after it came out and thought it was bloody fantastic. And then I went through all of Resident Evil 3 and, of course, Final Fantasy. So, like,
yeah,
I've just been
just like bam, bam, bam.
I've been really cutting through them.
Yeah. You've been cutting down these really long hour sync games, too. Like, just getting through there.
Yeah. And so my next one is the biggest out of the bunch. It's going to be Persona 5 Royal. And that's going to be a challenge because it's like a 150-hour game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I did just start Chasm, too, last night, which is a Metroidvania that's got randomized elements in it. So it, like, generates maps and stuff for you. And that's actually kind of cool. I don't know how I feel about it quite yet, but I was enjoying playing it late last night. Zach, what have you been playing, man?
Really just kind of some Animal Crossing. I did hop back into some Fortnite. Started getting back into it because we ended up having more people that joined our little group that play and more people that I know, which is kind of funny when I'm hopping into parties of people now that it's dominated by like West Virginians.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool. So I'm meeting some new folks there, playing. But like I said, work and home stuff has been dominating everything, so it's been those two things. I did get to play that Spiritfarer demo, which I wrote a little bit of a like my experience with on, which was really
there's a
fun.
preview on the website.
I can't wait for it to actually come out. That's going to be the next thing that I sink some real good time into.
Yeah. I'm also really excited about that Mortal Shell that we wrote about. That's a upcoming Souls-like that just looks freaking sweet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, it's going to be super awesome.
I think we talked a little bit of that on maybe our last news episode, but the general premise is you're playing as like a spirit that inhabits various warriors, like fallen warriors, and so that's where you get like your classes, essentially. And it just looks like a really interesting take. Graphically, it's super impressive, even though it's made by like 10 people at best.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a really small studio.
Well, that's pretty sweet.
Joe, what have you been playing?
Well, aside from Animal Crossing in the last couple of days, which my experience is a little unique maybe to your guys because we only have the one Switch.
Right.
So I originally bought it because I knew Little Gamer, who is 5, would enjoy it. She has like designs of dresses that she's done like taped to the walls in her closet as like decoration and things like that. So I knew a game where she could like design her own clothes and be creative and then see them on her character in the game would be something that she would love. And I was right. The moment that I showed her that she could do that, she was like the pure joy that like shone from her face was
awesome.
Worth every cent of buying this game. In some ways, it's a bit of an early birthday present for her. Because with everything happening, she's been put through a lot with being home constantly. She misses her friends. She misses being able to go to the playground and being, just out and about like normal. And so this was kind of us figuring out how to do something for her that would be something that she could look forward to and invest time into. And it's been going pretty well, except she sometimes doesn't want to give it up. But surprisingly, my wife also started playing it. And so the three of us have been sharing one island.
Right, yeah. Whenever I was buying this game, because I got mine through Target, so I looked through the reviews real quick, and almost all of the reviews were really negative, because people are like, it's tearing our family apart. You can only use one character really per Switch. And people were like furious about it.
I don't know if I mind sharing the island so much, because all three of us can play at the same time, couch co-op.
Nice.
And so we can all like go fishing and do things together and goof around and play tag or whatever. Like we've definitely had some fun with the couch co-op. It's not a bad thing at all. But it has been interesting because I've only really been able to play at night, so I miss out on all the daytime stuff. Mm-hmm. And by the time I get to it, Lily's already done a lot of the stuff. So it's like, oh, I guess all the weeds are picked already. Oh, the flowers are already watered. So I'm kind of...
She's probably getting all the like, well, your museum's up now sort of things too.
Well, see, I'll get more into this when we start actually discussing the game, because this is just me talking about the games that we're playing right now.
Right.
But I have some serious gripes about how it handles having multiple people on the same island, and I'll talk more in depth about that later. But the other game I've been playing a lot of lately is the Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition on the Switch.
Oh, have you like gotten pretty significantly farther since last time?
I'm like 30 hours in now.
Nice.
And I'm really enjoying it. It's a good story. It introduces some concepts. It's centered around a guy, and he was trying to be in the Knights of the Kingdom, and their methods didn't fit his ideology, so he quit. But his best friend stayed with it, and they have similar ideologies, but their methods are different. So his friend is like, the only way to change the system is from within. So I'm going to become as a high ranking of a knight as I possibly can and try to influence things from that position. And the main character, Yuri, is like, no, there's too many people suffering in the meantime for that to happen. We need drastic action now. And the only way that's going to change is if we as people start taking authority into our own hands. And there's a few moments in the game where I was like, oh, dang, this is some like serious issues. Like it really digs into some of these philosophical concepts of how to do things. And so it's a really cool game. And I like that they bounce it with his childhood best friend, and like how their different approaches to the same ideology really makes puts their friendship through like some pretty strenuous things, especially since some of the methods that Yuri uses are more criminal in nature. And so there's definitely that part of it, because they clearly care for each other, but they're definitely at odds with one another.
So there's some really good character-based stuff going on.
Right, and there isn't an unlikable character in the game, in my opinion. Every character, like the cast of characters in your party is like 8 or 9 characters that you can swap out, and every single one of them I enjoy.
That's cool.
So if you're looking for a good RPG to pick up because you blew through Final Fantasy VII too fast, take a look at Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, which I think is still on sale on Switch eShop.
Oh yeah, they have a big spring sale going on right now.
But it's also on PS4 and Windows and Xbox too, I believe.
Right.
So it's available on everything.
Neato. Well, all right. Do we have any general game news that we want to bring up while we're here? Because I think one of the bigger ones is that Jason Schreier of Kotaku fame, who's been doing all these great reportings, is suddenly leaving Kotaku. And apparently it's a decision that like he's been mulling over for a while now, since I think October, when some of the company owners were like doing some nonsense. I don't know the exact details of it, but Jason talks about it a lot. There's some articles on it, and he's got like a goodbye letter on Kotaku. So if you like Jason's work, maybe give him some of your time on his new project. So him, Kirk, and Maddie are all pulling up a new podcast called Triple Click, and I highly recommend going and give those folks a follow, and maybe listening to some of their like split screen recordings. The Kotaku Split Screen podcast is super good, and it's basically them just creating their own thing now, and I fully support it. I can't wait to see what they do next. Great group.
Interesting.
Definitely one of the most, like, if there's a journalist to like have a banner under, Jason Schreier is that person, because he really does some just incredible and like great work whenever it comes to, you know, calling people out on some of their bullshit and like providing those like witness accounts and, you know, talking to people that are actually in these situations, and it's really good stuff.
That's solid. That's real solid.
Yeah.
Especially with all the clickbait that's out there anymore.
Yeah, in an industry that really focuses on that like trend chasing thing, it's always a breath of fresh air when, you know, a site like Kotaku puts out something that's actually worthwhile. Other than that, we got the DualSense 5 or the DualSense controller. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that looks like the weird part of a stormtrooper's helmet.
Yeah. Or like a, I don't know, like a wrestling leotard. This was dropped back on April 7th, right? So it's been a couple weeks now since this appeared. But it just showed up as a blog post on the PlayStation blog. And everybody's like, whoa, what? It's Tuesday. In like the middle of the afternoon. Well, this was Thursday, actually.
Like, who the hell sneaks out some like bomb drop like on a Tuesday afternoon? No pre-hype. Just like, here you go.
They're like, all the journalists are at home getting ready to like chill out for the day. Drop.
Kind of an interesting fact. Twitch is reporting users have streamed 2 billion hours of video gameplay during this pandemic.
Just during the pandemic. Holy crap.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And streamed, not watched. So that is creators putting their stuff out there. That's nuts.
Imagine how many people are watching right now. I believe they're hitting like record highs on Twitch as well, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty certain Pornhub's gotten a lot of traffic too recently.
I wonder why.
I mean, they gave out a bunch of like free memberships and stuff too there for a while.
Well, it's been an hour.
Well, what do you think about this controller though? Do you like it? Do you think it'll like? Do you think people will like it? I kind of like it.
I like it. I don't see what everyone was freaking out about. Well, I guess not everybody, but there just seemed to be split.
Yeah.
With it, but I only see it moving things forward from what the current design is, and I'm a huge fan of the current design. I think the PS4 controller is super comfortable, and I've always kind of like raised an eyebrow at everyone that tells me that the Xbox controller is super comfortable, because I find them typically to be too bulky, and they kind of shift my wrists in weird angles.
Yeah. Now, nothing's worse than the freaking Joy-Cons. I hate playing with the Joy-Cons. I always end up in weird angles.
But the Pro controller is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. It's better. I still like the DualShock 4 probably out of the modern group. And it's weird because I used to play on the 360 and stuff, and I still think that the 360 is a great controller. But like when using the Xbox One, I just feel so awkward. I don't know. There's something weird about it.
For me, I used third-party controllers forever because they were cheaper, A. B, just I liked them better for the most part because I think the Xbox is too big. I think the PlayStation's okay. It's like close to the size that I want it to be, but it's not quite right. Joy-Cons are a whole different demon for me because I can like completely envelop a Joy-Con inside of my fist.
Right, yeah. You can do magic tricks with it. You like completely cover it.
Yeah, I've almost always have had a PlayStation console since PS2, and so I'm kind of used to that. Like I like the Pro controller, but it's still a little bulky, in my opinion. But I think it's more comfortable than the Xbox controller, in my opinion.
I think that this new DualSense design, aside from the actual color scheme, is going to be really cool.
I mean, the color scheme is something that they can change a billion ways. So.
Oh yeah. That's the least of my like worries about it. But like the actual shape of the controller, I find really good. I'm pretty certain that's a USB-C port. Now that I'm looking at it, I want to
Yes,
confirm
it
that.
is.
Yeah, which is great because I hate micro USB, especially on the PS4 controllers because it gets all bent up and like stops working after a while.
Yep.
But USB-C is just a stronger structure, so like that should last a lot longer. And I'm curious to see how the like pressure activated or whatever triggers end up working, how they can like alter the pressure depending on the game's code.
Oh, the haptic.
I'm curious
feedback?
how that's going to feel. It's not a haptic feedback because haptic feedback is basically like when it rumbles in a particular way to like show you different things, but it might be a type of haptic feedback.
Yeah, maybe.
So this will adjust the tension specifically.
Yeah. That way you get that feel of you like drawing a bow or having to pull a trigger.
Which is what they've been, and that could be really interesting to me, especially for a game like Call of Duty, where you can alter the trigger pull just slightly. Adaptive triggers is what they're calling it.
Adaptive, that's it.
So if you think of like maybe a sniper rifle will have a much lighter pull versus like an old classic 1911 pistol or whatever would have a much heavier pull. So I think in that regards that could be really cool. And like you said, the bow thing they talk about a lot. That'd be neat.
Mm-hmm.
I like the little like that they. I've never really had too many issues with the light bar on the PS4 controller, but I like the more subtle kind of around the touch pad that they're doing with this. I think that's a really nice little look.
Well, for one, you can see it, and there are some games that like provide you feedback that way. Like it'll turn red when you're low on health and such. And so if you have that more in your actual view, then I think it's, something a little better.
I don't know if Xbox does this because I've never had an Xbox and I've never paid attention to the controllers enough to really observe it. But I think one of the greatest things that modern controllers have included is a headphone jack in the controller.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm glad that they are continuing with that, especially with phones moving away from a headphone jack. And so having that there, I think, is going to be a big plus in its favor. Do we have a look at the new Xbox controller, or is it just going to be continuing forward with what they have?
They haven't confirmed yet, to my knowledge. There's some commentary recently about somebody at Xbox talking about what they thought about the DualSense, but I don't think they've actually confirmed what their new controller, if it's going to change at all yet.
I don't know. I don't like the controller overall because it's just too big for me, but that may also be
Xbox
biased.
or the DualSense?
Xbox in general, because it might be biased from me coming from playing PlayStation forever as well.
Yeah. I was only on the Xbox for the 360, really. And honestly, I think that's where it was best. The UI was way better.
Which
UI?
It changed like 5 times.
Yeah.
Well, one of the early ones. Yeah, so they have it's like an improvement of the original Xbox controller. So I can pitch this to you guys real quick. This is in the managing chat section. Yeah, so they have... It's mostly just like the D-pad is fundamentally different. The triggers have like a new texture on them. They're using USB-C, I think. That sort of thing. They still have a headphone jack. There's a new button in the center called like the create button, I think is what they called it. I remember this being... And that's the thing about this reveal. Like I was pumped to see the DualSense. But like for the Xbox controller, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I mean, I think it comes down to is what sort of things are you already kind of excited about?
Yeah.
So there's probably some bias there, but I just, as someone with a powerful PC, I have no reason to get an Xbox.
Especially because they started putting all their first-party games on PC.
And some of them on Switch.
Mm-hmm. So I think the Xbox Series X is really cool for somebody that doesn't want to deal with the like
PC
building
stuff, yeah.
PC stuff. And for that, there's definitely a market for that. And presumably the parts that you get in an Xbox Series X will outperform anything that you can spend that same amount of money on in the PC marketplace.
Yeah.
And so in that regards, if you're like looking to play on a higher end display with like really nice graphics, the Series X is probably a fine choice. But like the PS5 is comparable stat wise.
Well, it depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, at this point, I've given up on their stat back and forth. They both got some power, and they don't know what to do with it.
About this. Yeah, I'm less concerned with the specs and far more concerned with what they plan on doing with those specs.
And right now, that's PlayStation, because they keep putting out banger after banger. What's Xbox put out? Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
Oof. Rough.
That game sucks.
And then even a further counter is Nintendo is crushing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they
now here's something interesting.
Have one of the weak. They clearly have the weakest spec wise. They just are putting out games that really know how to utilize the hardware, and they've opened it up to the indie market so much so, and a lot of these indie titles perfect for playing on the go.
Yeah, and they play way better. They sell well better on the Switch too most of the time as well. But the cool thing that was recently discovered in a patch that was released for the Switch, so this is somebody that data mined it, is they found another reference to a new version of the Switch, like a Pro version.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe
instead. And so when you start finding things in the code, it's more likely to actually be a thing, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. So, and what's interesting too is it specifically mentions secondary display. And this comes from Mike Heskin on Twitter. HEXKYZ is their handle. Firmware 10.0 adds preliminary support for a new hardware model, quote, NX-ABCD. 3 of the 5 new DRAM profiles are for this hardware type, and there's evidence of a secondary display of sorts being added exclusively on this model. So what that says to me is they're going to release something that has another screen, much like the DS, but will probably be there for, various functionality. But more importantly, I think it might play 3DS games.
What?
Oh, that would be cool. Like a 3DS functioning Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, that's something that I think that they could do with just like a plugin that you add to your TV. Because you can make 3DS and DS games work on the TV. The Mega Man Zero collection just recently put out. It's got a great display option for
Here's
the
an idea.
various screens.
Something that I guess I haven't really thought about is, could this be Nintendo returning to having some sort of attachment to the console to enable that sort of play?
Because now, see, that's what I've been asking for since the Switch came out. A Game Boy player, but with DS games.
Interesting.
That would be cool. And if this secondary screen thing is, in fact, a thing, I bet you that's what they're doing. They're just doing that specifically to open up the 3DS.
I mean, they were moving in that direction with the Wii U, but they were able to do it all digitally.
Yeah.
It didn't require
any sort of hardware or anything.
Right. And they did a bunch of DS titles, but they didn't get into 3DS titles. And so I'm curious as to what this could lead to. Is it some sort of attachment that you will put on the bottom of your Switch, or something that you'll plug into your dock to enable you to play?
Or like a clamshell design that just gives you another screen, but also protects both your screens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things they could do with it. And the other thing, too, is at that point, are they just doing that for 3DS functionality? Or are they doing an actual Pro version to compete with the Xbox and stuff? I would almost bet that they're just doing it for 3DS functionality and just trying to heck with whatever everybody else is doing.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of the way Nintendo has always gone, and they've been successful enough that it carries them through.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It works out.
And I mean, hey, with the recent Switch shortage too, you can't deny that they are moving some units.
Oh yeah, they're not lacking for money, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah, we're actually kind of I'm kicking myself because I actually saw a Switch Lite at the store the other day and almost got it.
Mm-hmm.
And
could have got that one for Lily or for.
I came home, and I said, hey, I almost picked up a Switch Lite today, but I didn't because money.
Yeah.
And then my wife was like, I would have been okay with that actually. And so an
Yeah.
hour later, I went back to the store and they were both gone. I was like,
No.
yep, that's how it goes.
Oh,
But
womp, womp.
oh well.
Bummer. Well, back to the Switch. I mean, we've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. Let's get into that. So Animal Crossing came out in March, same day as Doom Eternal. I opted for Doom Eternal that day, clearly. But I circled back around and got Animal Crossing not too long after that. And so this is essentially, to me, Animal Crossing New Horizons is in every way like Gaia Online is, or like the Second Life MMOs that are basically just digital chat services. And so to me, that's what Animal Crossing is, more or less, is just a social space. Where you're, and even if you're not interacting with other players like we're doing right now, you're interacting with your villagers.
True.
So it simulates that kind of social connection and community, and that's where all your like goals are oriented is, hey, we want to build a new shop, or we want to bring Blathers in and get his museum going.
Yeah, it feeds you basically a 2-week-long main storyline and then lets you freeform. And it's not a storyline in which you have to do anything in those 2 weeks. But I mean, if you want to do more, then yeah, you've got to do some other things. But it like takes you nice and slow through all the new functionalities you'll get to do and be able to play with them. Like, because it works on days and I'm used to playing the old Animal Crossing games, it's not surprising to me. So you get this, like, you get to chew on something new for a day every time. And then depending
and so, for example, I don't have terraforming yet, but you do.
Yes, because the final goal for terraforming is getting KK to your island. That's like that's like the end all for your storyline, aside from getting a 5-star island.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so at this point I've got like, the museum, I've got the tailor people have already, the Able sisters have set up their shop, the Nook's Cranny's built, the plaza's upgraded.
You've got how many villagers now? Like 10?
I've got 9. I have room for one more, and it's just because I want to be picky with my last one.
Oh, okay.
But villagers,
and there is kind of a selection process that you can do.
Yeah, you can, at least so far, because before I would put down plots and villagers just showed up, so I didn't pick those. You get a campsite, which you can talk to villagers that are in that campsite into moving into your town. You can visit islands using the Nook Miles tickets to do your farming and resourcing and just general like catching and stuff. And sometimes there's a villager there that you can chat with and decide to invite to your island or not. And then they have what's going on. The big thing is everybody does villager trade, which back in the day it was a little bit different, but now it's like a market. Everything's so expensive. But people...
So explain to me how you go about trading a villager then.
So your villagers move in. When they first move in, they've got their cardboard boxes everywhere, and they just stay in their house and chat with you when you come in. And they're like, oh, I got so much work to do, and they appreciate you visiting, and you don't get to do anything with them for the day. But the next day, they have themselves unpacked. So on the other end, when a villager will approach you every now and then, or you can approach them, and they'll be like, hey, I think I want to move out. I want to try something new. Spice it up. You can ask them to stay, or you can be like, you know what? You're right. I hope you have a good time. And they'll go in the process of putting themselves back into boxes and then disappear the following day. Now, while they're in that cardboard box state, you can invite somebody to your island, and they can talk to that animal moving out and invite them to their island.
Oh, okay. So that's where this market is coming into play, is people are setting up these sales and then having to go through the process of like establishing that connection with that villager.
Correct. And the big thing is most of the market of it comes from people time skipping, because you can change your Nintendo Switch's time to whatever you want, not connected to the internet, and do this like time jumping back and forth until it forces villagers into their like trying to leave or packing up, because sometimes they just pack up and leave. They'll just be like, hey, I'm leaving. Just letting you know.
See ya.
If you've been doing the time skip. Or that expedites the process of getting rid of somebody that you don't want there. There's lots of like rumory stuff to it. There's no like proven method, like beating people with a net or just constantly pushing them out of the way, like generally pissing them off.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like that like will help move a villager out because they'll start to dislike you and dislike the island. But there's a really complicated setup that the game follows. Like there's compatibility between, is the villager got a lazy personality, and how do they interact with somebody with a smug personality, or like the big sister, the Uchi personalities. And depending on their compatibility, if they're not compatible with anybody on the island, they're not going to want to stay.
Huh. I did notice that there is a pretty complex AI system going on.
Yeah, they'll have full conversations by themselves. Like you can come in and like join two of your animals just doing their own thing.
And then they just kind of look at you like, excuse you? We were having a conversation here.
I keep seeing this thing where like somebody will put down a radio and play like a faster paced song, and then the animal will walk up and just start like spouting gibberish and like singing along almost. But it's like this crazy string of noises that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, the animalese, like the simies. How do you? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's kind of like Simlish.
Yeah,
from The Sims.
Yeah. Because you can make them out where they're trying to say some words.
Yeah, you can almost understand it.
It's still all kind of gibberish though.
And the thing is apparently Animalese sounds different in different regions. And there's like some really cool studies that I think it was Polygon or somebody had some great videos on this. But it's just a bunch of like, here's why this is how it is and how it's evolved over time. And it's just kind of fascinating how language has developed in this game.
Yeah. No.
What happens if everyone else on the island gets along, but you're the problem?
Well, it's your island, and I guess you can tell them to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
But actually, you can't. You can't tell anybody they have to leave.
You can't evict somebody purposely.
What's the point of all that power?
You all live here together. You came here on the island trip together.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I'm the one spending all the money, so.
What you gonna do with all that power?
But, I mean, if you really don't like somebody, once you get terraforming, you can just dig a moat in front of their house so they can't come out anymore.
That's such a Sim thing to do, where you like put them in the pool and take out the ladder and just wait.
All right.
Yep. To build my Sim graveyard, I always put somebody in a room with a fireplace and a rug, and then took the door away.
What? Jeez.
These life sim games, man, the players of them have no conscience.
It's true.
So, I'm a brand new player to any Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I am too.
I've been playing for 4 days. And maybe this will be corrected in the future. Maybe some of this will be easier in the future. But as it stands right now, I'm pretty mixed review on my experience. And
that's where I'm at too.
Some of it I think is related to the fact that I share a console and I share an island with other people.
That's probably part of it.
So me picking up this game, intending it to be a gift for my 5-year-old daughter, bought it and allowed her to play first. And that screwed everything up. Because only my daughter can progress the island.
Yeah.
I can't submit resources to build a store. I can't prompt the museum I can't prompt Blathers to come to the island. I can't do any of that stuff. I have to log into hers and do it for her because she's 5 and can't read.
Yeah.
That said, she is absolutely loving this game. Every aspect of it she is enjoying. She, I think, just shook trees and collected branches for an hour straight today. So,
hey,
wow.
That's a nice little trick, too, in the game. Every day, you shake your trees, you get 2 pieces of furniture. Guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And so... maybe that's why I don't get any. I'm like, where did you get this? And she's like, I found it. And I was like,
I fell out of a tree.
I don't find anything because it's already been done on the island. There are also things that I've been like, I didn't like the fact that the game made me earn or purchase game mechanics.
Oh yeah. There's
Like,
pocket space you can buy.
Yeah, I had to earn. I don't mind pocket space. Like earning and buying more pockets makes sense. Earning and buying a game mechanic where I can more easily access my tools is not good game mechanics.
No.
Like
the ring
being
or
able
whatever?
to access your tools easily should be available from the beginning of the game. I shouldn't have to spend in-game currency for a game mechanic. That
And
seems bad to me. I also am frustrated that the vault, for some reason, doesn't appear in that tool circle. Or at least it
oh,
didn't in mine.
the
Oh,
pole vault? Yeah, it will.
You can
You probably
assign
just
it.
have too many tools. Yeah.
Oh, I just have too many. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
What I wish,
the tool
that,
in my list, the tool in my pockets, the tool before it and
Yeah.
the tool after it are in the circle, but the vault is not in the circle. And I was just like, what the heck is this garbage? Like this tool that I need to navigate the island, I have to go into the menu even after buying a game mechanic that allows me to access tools faster. Okay, now that I need to just maybe assign it or something, that makes a little bit more sense. But I've only had it for like 2 hours.
I
And
wish
I've
that
spent
there
an hour
was.
of that 2 hours doing this.
I wish there was a way you could set up your character to where rather than having to equip the pole vault, just whenever you walked into a river,
Right. That
it would
seems
just
like
do it
something-
automatically.
If you have it in your pockets, it should just do it.
Yeah, that's been a thing since the original Zelda. Like when you unlock the ladder and you can just use it to cross one block spaces. Why can't I
Right.
have that in Animal Crossings? Come on. I just want to approach a cliff and climb my ladder automatically. I don't want to have to like equip it.
And so it seems like it's being able to transfer who the representative is something that they might be able to patch into the game later,
Yeah.
especially if we do buy a second Switch and a second copy of the game.
Yeah, that's what's
Because
interesting is in order
if-
to get another player, you would have to buy a second copy.
And yeah, and so if we buy a second Switch and a second copy of the game and give it as intended to be primarily used by Little Gamer, then she's starting from scratch.
She can. I feel like there's a
But
profile
it sounds like
transfer thing that you can
Nintendo.
do there.
I did do some research, and it sounds like Nintendo has announced transfer of data between systems. Because I
Yeah.
don't mind starting over on my own, like that's fine.
Right.
But I would hate for her to spend all this time on her stuff and then lose access to that stuff in her own game, and then she just wants to play the original all the time anyway.
There should be a way to take your save file and add that to her Switch and then move her profile over. Like I think there's a manual way to do it.
Now
there's
is that
something-
actually tied to your Switch, or is it tied to your game unit?
The
It's
island
actually
is-
tied to your Switch.
Yeah, so that's why the transferring is super weird right now and kind of a pain. That's why they need to patch it into the game.
Yeah. Rather
Because
than being based on your profile like it should be, where it could theoretically move from system to system, they
'Cause
tied it to
even
your
though-
physical Switch.
Yeah, because even though Lil Gamer plays the game more than I do, I'm the one who has to go and progress things. And so being able to transfer who's the representative would be, I think, top priority for Nintendo, because I know for a fact I am not the only person that's run into this. Reddit has told me lots of other people are running into this as well, that they bought the game and they were just like, they let their 6-year-old or their brother or their sibling do it first, but the person that is the representative is either not playing the game as much or is unable to read and progress it with the understanding of what they're supposed to do. And so there's a few things where I'm kind of like, this definitely could be streamlined. The crafting, I should be able to just pick 3 things and just craft them all at once rather than have to craft them individually one at a time.
That's the thing that I think will get fixed first.
For me, I don't mind crafting a different thing one at a time to an extent, but if I'm like crafting fish bait, I really think that they should have a bulk crafting item or option for that. So, I'm going to craft this one thing, I'm going to make 5 copies of it.
Oh my gosh. You
Not
have
that
to
I'm
craft the bait one at a time?
Oh yeah. Everything in this game is one at a time. Man.
Yeah. Now the bait will stack into stacks of 10.
Yeah.
But your clams will take up an inventory slot per clam.
I don't like that either. Certain
Right.
things that shouldn't be stackable aren't, and it's really annoying.
Well, I mean, it's to say that you can't go out and catch 100 fish and have just one inventory slot of it. They've
So
always been kind of realistic with that. Like I have my slots. I can put a fish in each of my pockets and then have to roll out.
Yeah.
That said, overall, I'm having a great time playing this and building an island with my daughter and my wife because my wife started playing it. We both love the creative outlets that it has built into it. We're looking forward to having more options in the future and seeing what other people have built. But there are definitely some hiccups in like just in the core of the game that I think could be adjusted to make things better, or like in my particular case, being able to like progress the island without logging into my daughter's account.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, see, me and Toast were well prepared for we're going to be stuck on different islands. So that's one of the pushes that pushed me into getting the new Switch. But, I mean, we've also been doing a lot of review stuff on Switch, so it made more sense for me to get my own.
Yeah.
That way I didn't, like, tie up her from it.
But see, that's where I'm kind of torn, too, because I actually really enjoy sharing an island with my family. And we're all kind of, like, building our own houses and are in like we can kind of share our styles and ideas all on the same island without having to have another $200 investment.
Right
Now there's a couple things with that I would like to see them change up a little bit, and that would be like because I understand why they have so many restrictions when you go to an island. You can't edit somebody else's stuff. You can't, dig unless you're best friends. You can't move things that you're placing down. Those things are really good, but I feel like they should add an option to be like, I want to be able to have this person do everything here with me, like contribute, like helping me fill up my Critterpedia.
So like give stuff. Like roles to specific people so that they could do something.
Yeah, so right now when you open up your island, you can open it up to friends, best friends, via a dodo code, or just open your island up and let anybody in the world come in via local or online, depending on how you're doing it. So that I think that there should just be an extra option, be like, let my selected friends or let my best friends come in to completely like play with me. So like then
and actually pick up things, put things down, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Just
so this is another aspect where I might have a unique experience. I can't put anything in my yard because I will find it the next time I log on in my daughter's yard because she'll see it. Like I had a campfire and 2 lawn chairs and like a tire, like the tire things that you had on your beach. Like I had and all out in my front yard. And I had like a gas grill or whatever there. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing my dad thing. Like, and then the next time I logged in, all of my stuff was gone and in her yard. And I was like, you stole my chairs and my campfire.
And then like your daughter swooping your campfire.
Yeah.
She got, sir.
It just made me laugh because like narratively in my head, she put the fire out, like poured bucket of water on it, stole the burnt wood, carried it over to her place, and then lit it back on fire.
Set it back up and lit it back. That's really funny. Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely some things I want to see improved with Animal Crossing here, but like I'm enjoying it way more than I thought I would, and it seems like you are too, Joe. Because originally we were like, it's just chores.
I don't play chore simulators.
You don't play chore simulators is the only thing I've heard from you two for like 2-3 months leading up to this, and I'm so.
And here we are doing the fucking podcast in the Animal Crossing.
Exactly. I'm so excited that you all like actually got into playing this sort of thing.
If I wasn't playing with my daughter, though, I don't think I would be having as much fun because
if Kim wasn't playing it, I wouldn't touch this.
All of my top enjoyment is coming from my direct interactions with her in the game.
Yeah.
And like watching her be super excited about something she made. Like she caught all these animals and put them when she got her house. She put up all of these animals in her house and she even like no one told her about this, but she segmented her 1-room house into different rooms with the animal cages. And so her living room is separated. She's got a radio in it and the switch, and she's got a wall of animals separating the living room from her bedroom.
That's funny.
And so
that's
she's
brilliant.
like, yeah, she's 5. And I was like, wow, that's actually really, really cool. And she's showing me all the animals that she's got in her place, and she's excited about what she's like. I caught her a tarantula because she was having trouble, and I saw something she'd like, and I was able to buy it and mail it to her, and we can send each other notes. Like she's learning how to spell and read and things, and she on her own spent money to send me a postcard that said, "I love you, Dad. You're the best."
Aww.
Like,
you can't put a price tag on that, can you?
It wasn't spelled right, but I could tell that's what she was trying to say.
That's super funny. Cute. That's the kind of story that I haven't read anywhere.
And so, like, us sharing this island and sharing this experience together has made it worth it for me. If she wasn't a part of it, I wouldn't be interested at all. But I knew she would love it, and so I knew it would get played, and I bought it, and I figured I'll help her do what she wants to do. And that's mostly what it's been. I log in at night. I've missed out on all the day stuff, and I try to just like make the island move forward so she can get more stuff.
Oh,
now see, here's where the time skipping would help you, but it would feel kind of cheatsy because you could set your time. I don't want to do that. I was saying, you could just set your time back to the day and help her out. But no. We haven't been doing any time skipping.
I haven't either.
I feel like the game has like a specific idea, like
it's intended to played that way. Right, although apparently the producers have said, "Look, we don't find people time skipping cheating. Do what you want."
Right, it's like been there forever. It's not like cheating in a first-person shooter or tournament. Or something. It's you cheated and got an axe a day sooner.
Yeah. So that's actually one of the things that are missing from this that were in the old ones is Rossetti the mole, and I cannot remember for the life of me what his brother's name was. But Rossetti,
he would badmouth you.
Yeah. He'd pop up out of your front door as soon as you come out of your house and would be like, "I know what you did. I know exactly what you did. You can't do that. You're bad.
You're messing with the timeline, sir."
Yeah, and he would yell at you, and he'd get mad, and he'd have the like crazy like, what would you call this?
Like the
yellow halo, like angry.
So perhaps maybe I should do the time skip if I've got a TARDIS shirt on.
There you go. Yeah.
But I have a phone booth. Mine's not blue though. I wish it was.
Yeah, it's like yellow.
Well, it's a police box, sir, not a phone booth.
Nah, that's fair. It's about the same thing, right?
It's similar. It's got a phone on it, but it also inside has a library and a pool. So
now the most fun I've had so far in this game is that fishing tournament we did last week. That was really fun. Right. So I'm excited for those sort of events.
Right, and the fishing tournament is going to be quarterly, so they'll have one fishing tournament every season to catch all the fish. There should be bug tournaments, which they'll call bug-offs. So Flick will show up and he'll have you do something. I'm not sure how they're going to do it in this game because the fishing tournament was vastly different than the old ones.
Right.
The old ones, you caught fish and it randomly assigned it a length. So you just caught fish until you were the one with the best length in the on the island.
Yeah. Which I think is more interesting than how it works now, of like trying to catch more.
Right.
If you took all of your fish and lined them toe to mouth, or
toe to mouth,
because fish have toes.
Now I like because Pocket Camp, the one they released for mobile, had all these events going on too, and it handled them differently. So it still relied on the length of the fish you would get. And it would be kind of random, but the thing is...
Because we don't have lengths in this. We just have, here's the species.
Right. But you also didn't have CJ. CJ's new. He's the kid or grandkid of Chip, who was the old fishing otter who would just be like, "Oh, man, bring me all those fish so I can eat them."
I didn't realize there was so much freaking lore in these games.
Oh, there's lore. Characters like hook up and have children and stuff throughout the ages.
Gross.
It's crazy.
Tortimer's not around. Everybody thinks
Tortimer died.
Yeah.
Tortimer also tried to kill the turkey named Tom or whatever. There's a dark narrative there.
So I remember I watched when the first main trailer for this game came out at E3 last year or whatever. I watched the reaction video of the trailer by Girlfriend Reviews.
Oh yeah,
And she's not really a gamer, and the whole point of their channel is the reviewing the backseat experience of
right.
watching someone else play this game, and is it
It's
good or not.
really, really well done video
It's
essay
one of
stuff.
the best YouTube channels I watch right now. It's all of their stuff is really great. But I remember just laughing because in the trailer, like the character pulled out a ladder and she's like, "Ooh, there's a ladder." And I was like, "What? Like who cares? It's just a ladder."
If you want to watch another really good one, look up the Kind of Funny reaction, because like Greg Miller and them are like, "Oh my god, you can put things on the walls."
Yeah. Oh my god, I was so thrilled by that actually.
Yeah, dude. Animal
I
Crossing
think she
players
also
got
reacted really
hyped.
strongly to the vault, the pole vault or whatever,
Oh yeah,
being able to cross the river and stuff. And it's just like, oh, okay.
yeah. There's some little things that they showed off in that really long trailer that like got people excited. Now, the absolute coolest thing I've seen so far in Animal Crossing, and you can find that right here on Twitch, and it's various people that are doing this, but there's a group of people doing a Survivor style game, like the reality TV show. And so they basically have a game master who has set up an island, and she takes them through all these different challenges, and there's different teams, and they have to like go to this little camera section in the corner of the island and give their confessional, and they have to like clip those and send them to her. And I really hope they like edit all this together at the end and create like an actual Survivor season out of it.
That's cool.
That would be
And
so
recently,
great.
yeah, so that's on shoot, I need to find her thing. But it's Feeny and the Warp World guys. And so it's like Feeny and Xwater and Grand Pooh Bear and Jakku. What is
Thanks
her
for the
actual
bits,
name?
Beaverlaw.
Oh yeah, thanks. Shoot, what is her? Is it the Dragon Feeny?
I'm not sure. I'm
I can
glad
find
you
her
like
on
our little
Twitter.
island studio, though. A lot of this game is thanks donations from my wife. She slapped together a couple of things she had in the mail for me.
You guys killed it, because I like presented this as an idea for today probably 3 hours ago, and it already looks this good. It's twitch.tv/the Dragon Feeny. She's the game master of this Survivor one, and it's really funny. And they do it, I think, every Friday in the evening, and it's really fun. But Xwater is also, he recently did a like a Deal or No Deal style game in this, and it was also very fun. So I'm excited for these little like mini games that people are making, like murder mysteries and that sort of thing. It's really cool.
One of our buddies, did you see what he posted? Micro Bless.
No, what did he throw up?
One of his rooms is a 50s diner restaurant theme, and it is amazing.
People are good at this stuff, man.
You two are actually sitting in diner chairs right now.
Yeah.
I don't have hardly any furniture that goes together.
Oh, I see his little diner. Oh my god, that's perfect.
Right? Isn't it amazing?
Wow. That's so cute. This game brings out the best in people, I think. And like, we gotta shout out the Turnip thing too, because Turnip.exchange is the best site I've seen for this.
And that's also fantastic. I used it the other night because I've let myself go until Saturday on getting turnips.
Oh no, so you were like, I gotta unload these.
Well, yeah, I actually should have sold them on my island, because you have a couple different ways your turnips fluctuate through the week, like a stock market. Yeah. The first 2 weeks, Timmy and Tommy did not want my turnips. They went all the way down to like 30 bells.
Oh my gosh.
And then this past week, I had them jump all the way up to like 189, highest I'd ever seen it. I was like, you know what? I was like, I might be on an upward trend. We're going for one of the big spikes. And I let it go.
Those aren't tanukis, they're weasels.
Right? I let it go, and it dropped down to like 80 bells, and I was like, oh no. I was like, this is bad.
Oh gosh.
But
I haven't even touched turnips.
I found somebody, a lot of people want you to come in. They're like, it's 100,000 bells, and you can come once for that fee. If you need to come twice, you got to pay again. Really exorbitant amounts of things to go to places to sell things. But
right
on like Turnip.exchange, you get a list a little thing about it, and I found a girl that was doing like, hers were selling or being bought for like 600 and something, but she was like, you know what, just come in, whatever. There's a long queue. You have to be here a while, like, because I'm only letting a couple people in at once, but no fees. But if you want to tip me, that's cool. So I was like, sure. So I packed together. I grabbed 5 of my star fragments and 1 of my rare Ares fragments because that's what I get from anytime I wish on stars is I get an Ares fragment or 5. And I ran in and I was like, hey, I was like, here you go. And I dropped all this stuff on the ground and they were like, oh shit, thanks.
Nice.
I was like, thank
Cool.
you.
Cool. And that service has apparently seen millions of like users already. Like Jakku and them have been super busy with it. It's crazy.
See, this reminds me of our friend Andrew.
Oh yeah.
Because he had posted something about the turnip market, and I had no idea what he was talking about. But from my perspective, I was like, it kind of sounds like you took a game that's all about chilling and being creative and just kind of like,
made it into a competition
you
about
took
money.
like one of the games that's touted as being one of the least stressful games of all time, and it sounds like you made it into a high intensity stock market simulator.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you could go with that. But I mean, so for me personally, I spend 100,000 bells a week on turnips and then I sell them somewhere. And I get about
Sometimes you come on top, sometimes you don't.
Exactly. So I've won twice and I've made 536,000 both times.
Zach, can you pass me a cup of tea? That looks...
Yeah, I'm kind of parched. This game is interesting.
Oh yeah, I can't get over there.
Yeah, because my fat ass is here. Sorry.
Turn that light off, though. Ha
Haha, the power. No, I've really been enjoying Animal Crossing way more than I figured I would. I really want to create a little like kaiju diorama because you can get a Godzilla and you can get a giant robot, and I want to make like in the patterns
What?
a little city and have them fight over a giant city. I think it'd be kind of cool.
That would be great. And you could, I mean, even if you can't find a diorama for like a city like that, you could make one.
Or like, that one Godzilla movie where Ghidorah and Godzilla are fighting in the middle is that like classic Tokyo Tower with like the peaked roofs or whatever that are in like a section. I don't remember the name of the castle.
Kinda.
And it's a very
Make, like,
Japanese
wood-
building.
You can make like wood cutout things, right?
Yeah, you can make
Probably.
cutouts of. I have a tree standy recipe actually. You can get a bush. I think there's a couple others.
Oh, can you
get.
make your own though?
Yeah. You
Oh.
can't make just like anything.
But you could make like a pattern and stamp it onto something.
Yeah,
I guess.
because otherwise you're gonna
Yeah.
walk into like Wiener Island.
No, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot
I'm
of
sure it
islands
already
that I've
exists.
seen people make patterns for, and some of them are questionable. Like some of them are like chalk outlines of dead people
Oh, nice.
that they're stamping on the ground, and I'm like, oh wow. I was like, that's
Kim
impressive
found one
and
that was
disturbing.
cute, where basically somebody had created like drawing in the sand, or no, it was like an etching on a tree that somebody put on there. And so she took that basic idea and put like a little A+K on the sand in our little like date spot on her island. It's really cute.
Aw.
So we're running up to about an hour and a half right now on this
Yeah.
episode.
Oh my god.
And
we
I was
are.
wondering, Zach, with to wrap things up, do you want to give us a tour of your house?
Yeah, you can check out my house, but it's just a giant fucking mess.
I mean, that's what everybody says when they come over to anywhere, right? Like,
God.
oh, welcome to my place. Excuse the mess.
I have a whole nother level of excuse the mess. Especially because I ripped a bunch of things apart to build this.
I mean,
Right,
like
yeah.
I said, it kind of looks. I kind of feel like I walked into an antique shop.
Yeah, speaking of this looking like an antique shop for you and your daughter loving stuffed animals, if she needs these pandas, she's welcome to them.
Pandas.
I'm sure she would love it.
I gotta see, because I might even just be able to buy some and send to you. Speaking of which, let me see here.
Oh yeah, how do we become like friends on this?
We're
You got to be friends on the Switch.
Which
We
we
are.
already are.
Oh, so you should be able to add to best friends list if you want to. But like, if you guys are already friends on Switch, you can mail each other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Maybe I can't because you're the second player on the island. That would be really sucky. But I can't see you on my list right now. But we'll have to check it out. It
really?
might just be something where we like reload to our islands and it does the save thing. But
Yeah, or maybe you didn't have the friend code thing set right or something.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. But
All right, where are we going?
my tatami
bed?
bed.
Yeah, take that. Stay in bed. Get it.
We'll come check out my very narrow kitchen. Because
This definitely looks like a little, like a Japanese space. Like you got basically a kotatsu almost.
So next week we should do a tour of either your island or Alex's house.
Mine is like terrible.
So,
Well, you have a
if
week.
look, I've got stuff hanging on the walls too. So over here, I've got the first outfit I ever had was there on the wall. I don't remember an Addis robe.
Oh yeah.
A couple of the Bunny Day things, just because the Bunny Day stuff earns you a lot of happy home points.
Oh okay.
And
Yeah, I don't like home organizations. They drive me up the wall. Just the concept of them drives me insane. Oh, I hate it so much.
Yep.
Fucking capitalism.
And it makes toast, which is great.
Nom, 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 nom. I am excited. We bought a toaster today. I haven't had a toaster in 2 years.
Oh yeah, let's see.
Really?
What do I have on the walls?
Like in real life, we got a toaster.
Oh yeah,
That's
so,
crazy. I gotta have Pop-Tarts.
So
There's a
Because
froggy suit.
our toaster
Yeah.
broke, and we just haven't bothered. I've been like, if I want toast, I've been literally like buttering bread and toasting it in a frying pan.
Oh my gosh! So I saw a video the other. I don't know what the deal is about the froggy chair, but I saw somebody like make an actual froggy chair and give it to a friend, and the friend started crying.
I don't know what that is either.
Apparently, it's an item that's like not in this game, but was in the other one, and it's like a bit of a meme. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Is that a trilobite?
Yeah.
Neat.
So when you get your fossils, you don't have to turn them into the museum. You can actually put them up for decoration.
Nice fax machine.
Right?
Oh, I'm from the 90s.
Oh, how zany!
Oh.
So we can turn on some tunes here even.
Yeah.
What we
Can I
got
play
over-
this guitar?
That would be great.
Dude, guess what I'm building at my island? I'm building a bluegrass like outdoors
I like
stage,
this world rug.
complete with hay bale chairs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Although
anytime-
currently they're beds, so everybody that comes to watch that is like laying down. I haven't figured that out yet.
I know. I wish there was like a hay couch.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah. So
Got some
anytime
soldering
Sahara's in,
stuff.
you should talk to Sahara. I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but buy the rugs. The rugs are cool. The mysterious
Yeah,
ones are well.
Got a
worth
bunch
it.
of shit rugs recently from them.
Me too. But this is.
I didn't know you could hang outfits up. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
Now that I think about it, though, Kim hung up a bunch of hers.
yeah, I don't know if. Yeah, buy rugs. I don't know if they actually help with your feng shui points, but
Oh.
Welcome.
which your feng shui is a cool way to help you get things too. I'm
Neat.
sure Joe does
My
not know
goodness.
this very well.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so feng shui has been in Animal Crossing since the beginning. So the way it works is on this side of the room, you have basically two whole squares. So like me and the lava lamp each take up a square. So on this right side from top to bottom, it's always on your north to south because your homes are always facing south, and that's the way you go in.
Yeah.
And then in here, so top's north, bottom south. So in all of my rooms, it'll work the same way, even the top left and right. But on the right side, if you put red items, you get more luck on finding furniture and items, like actual physical things. You put green items on the southern wall, and you get more general luck. Just good things can happen more often. And if you put yellow items on the left wall, you get more luck with money. So you'll find more bells in your trees and get more bells out of presents.
Weird.
And that can stack on
What?
all of your rooms, except for your basement. I'm actually not sure if you get a basement in this game, but I'm pretty sure you will. Your basement doesn't count. The Happy Home Academy doesn't go into your basement either.
There's like RNG manipulation in this.
Yeah. Yeah, so if I wanted to just focus on bells, I would do whatever the fuck I wanted with the other walls, but I would keep my bell wall very yellow. So you can see where I've kind of got a lot of yellow over there now.
Yeah.
And I've definitely seen an influx in getting bells out of stuff. Like, I've gotten presents out of the sky for like 50,000 bells.
Wow.
But when I first had it set up, I had it mostly red, and I was getting a lot of furniture out of presents from the sky.
Huh. Fascinating.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, that applies for each room. So, like, if we go into the kitchen, I'm missing, 2 to 4 squares already because of the door being there. So,
Right. Huh. All right. So Zach has given us a little bit of tips too for anybody playing Animal Crossing at this
Yeah,
time.
I've already forgotten most of it. I've just been,
My eyes glazed over.
I've just been turning up all of his stuff. Oh, now I'm going through your closet. Apparently,
Oh,
there's an there's an outfit in here called a track fit. Oh, that's what it came up on my screen.
Really? That's wild. Let me see here, because I have a fancy schmancy thing that you haven't gotten to yet. Where's it at? I'm gonna whip out my fish.
no! Here comes the fish.
We've been laughing about the fact that they are called pockets, and so when Little Gamer wants to place something as a decoration in her room, she accidentally presses show it off. And so in my brain, like, it's kind of like she's like, "You want to see what I found?" And she just pulls a whole fish out of her pocket.
So this is a wand, which you'll maybe randomly get. I could probably even give you one if you wanted, because you'll get a lot of them.
Yeah, they come in different sizes.
It looks like a weird fish lollipop, but when I hit it,
Yeah, I see it. What?
I can store clothes in it, essentially, so I can go into like my scholar
It's
outfit,
basically a Sailor Moon wand.
Oh, cool.
or I can get into my, like, what I call it, my island work outfit, complete with my little basket.
Are you?
Do you know that
Randy
I was talking to
Savage?
Kim the other night, and I was like, dude, I want to create a little like fisherman with the yellow outfit and basically run around spouting Vandy Camp's propaganda, like the guy on the frozen fish covers. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm like, that would be the funniest roleplay thing, to just like show up to people's random islands, give them a bunch of like shrimp, and be like, Vandy Camps has only uses official Alaskan cod.
But yeah, so
I'm going to show off a little bit. This is one of Little Gamer's dress designs, and the front is supposed to be is roses, and then the back is this crazy rainbow.
but that's more than I've done for sure. I am not good
Yeah.
at designing.
Kim's are cool. She does some really cool ones. She'll be sitting on the couch and she's like, I created this character design. And then she'll pull it up and I'm like, holy crap.
Well, I did
My
find
wife-
this design.
My wife also did a Totoro shirt.
Ooh, that's a cool Hollow Knight one. I don't know how to pick up other people's designs, but when I get to that, I'm going to get like a Monster Hunter shirt
The
and that
easiest
sort of
way to
thing.
do it is using the phone app. And you go into your settings before you actually load into the game. Like, you'll open it up and hit the subtract button instead. And you can set up your Nook link with it. And then from there, you can use the phone app to scan QR codes of
Oh,
clothing.
yeah, the actual like cell phone app, not
Right.
your in-game.
Correct. And then from the cell phone app, you do that. You can store one at a time. So it's a little bit of a slow-moving process if you want to move a bunch over.
Yeah.
Like, I got this one, which was Zack or Cloud's outfit from one of the Final Fantasies.
Oh, nice. It looks like Cloud's a fight, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they were real similar.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, that pretty much does it for this episode of the Forever Classic podcast. And for anybody listening to the audio, like, thanks for hanging out with us. But if you want to see kind of the video representation in our cool little studio, definitely check us out on YouTube. You can find us through Forever Classic Games there as well. And it'll be in the highlights on our Twitch channel. So twitch.tv/Forever Classic Games.
Everybody have a good night.
All right.
Yeah, we
Thanks
might
for
even
listening.
make a little post on the website and stuff. But yeah, if anybody wants to check us out, definitely pop to foreverclassicgames.com and you'll be able to find us, I'm sure.
All right. Well, I stopped my recording.
Yeah, I just stopped mine so I can tack that on the end or something for whoever.
I just stopped mine as well.
All right. So now what do we want to do? We want to just keep goofing around?
I'm actually going to pop off, personally, and go see what Kim's doing. We were working on cleaning up her room before we got into this.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
Um,
exciting stuff. But I mean, if you feel like you want some tools ahead of time, I can hook you up from a bunch of tools.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I
Zach
feel like I
can
have
get you
plenty
all
to
the things.
do already, so I just got the shovel today. I was kind of annoyed too because it was like, if you hit rocks with something hard, like a shovel, then you'll be able to get rocks. And I was like, then give me a shovel.
The thing that bothers me is every fucking game uses a pickaxe to mine things, but in this game you use like an actual axe or a shovel, and I'm like, what?
Right? Yeah, so this is
Well-
a tree standee where I'm still live. So you can get this like a bush so that they look like fake trees and fake bushes you can put up.
Oh, nice.
And you just find so much stuff. I don't think I have.
Yeah,
anything,
it's
like, overly
somebody
cool.
mentioned. I think it was Donkey. It was like, this is basically a collectathon player's dream,
Oh,
and I'm like,
yes.
right, collecting stuff. Now it makes sense.
Yeah, so you won't really miss out on any like major functionality for not doing events, but like, so I have that like fish wand that I got from the fishing tournament. I have these trophies that I got for the fishing tournament. Actually, back in the studio, I'll run in here and I'll show you on the wall. So every time you get an S rank with the Happy Home Academy,
I can make an
they'll give you
ocarina.
cool stuff. So like up there on my wall, I have
And recycled boots.
I have a bronze, silver, and gold HHA plaque, and the standee or the mark, whatever you call the thing hanging on the wall.
The fish stuff.
Oh, I have that fish plaque
They're
too.
kind of
that
they're
goes
kind
on
of
your door.
high up to see.
Yeah, I didn't mean to have them that high, but I couldn't replace anything after we got here and got sat down.
Does the skeleton do anything? Whoa!
Does he do a dance?
He jumps.
The one that kills us is the snapping turtle, because he makes this little like meh sound. Kim has like 2 snapping turtles in her floor. Oh wow!
Right?
Meh.
Ugh.
Finally got